Example 1. Here is open circle. Right? And find the domain and a range. As you know, the domain is about the x values. The range is about the y values. So for the domain from left to right, for the range from downside to upside, right? Okay, let me write down the answer on board. So be careful, here's the open circle. We have domain is from left to right. So you can use the pen from left to right. And as we can see here, the curve is always goes up, right? So goes up means the x value should be from negative infinity, right? From negative infinity, we move the pen until we see a open circle. Open circle, that means we need to stop for 3 seconds, right? For 3 seconds, and we have x value 2, right? X value 2. Now we're gonna continue to move our pen from this point. We continue to move the pen because the curve always goes up. That means we're gonna move the pen to infinity. So we can see the domain is from negative infinity to 2, right? From negative infinity to 2, union 2 to positive infinity, right? 2 parts. Right? And the range from downside to upside. So we need to be careful from downside. We move the pen until here, right? You can see the first touch is this point, and this point has y value is 4, right? And again, we can see the curve always goes up. That means the pen, we're gonna move the pen to infinity, right? So from 4 to infinity. Here we use round bracket plus square. It's open circle. That means this guy is not included. Okay. And of course, for the infinity, negative infinity and infinity, we always use round bracket. Okay. Okay, so example 2. Okay, here we have 2 open circles. The first one is here. The first open circle is here. The second open circle is here. Okay. Now find the domain and the range. Okay, let me write out the answer on board. From left to right, right? So we're gonna move the pen from left to right. The first touch is this point, right? and this point has x value 0. Okay, now we continue to move the pen. We see an open circle, and we stop here, and we can see the x value is 2. Okay, now starts from here. We continue to move the pen, and we can see the curve always goes up, right? So we can see we're gonna move the pen to infinity, right? Infinity. So we can see from 0 to 2, union 2 to infinity, right? Now range from downside to upside. Okay, so the first touch at this point, the first touch at this point, right? And we have the y value is 0. Okay, let's continue to move the pen. We stop here because we can see there's the open circle. However, here's the tricky part, because when you draw a horizontal line, you will find another point. And this point will cover this y value too. So that means we don't need to stop here. Okay, that's the only tricky part that you need to memorize it. Okay, memorize it. Okay, so for the range, when you move and see there's an open circle, and you're gonna check. Okay, draw a horizontal line, and if you find another point on the line that can cover this y coordinate, that means we don't need to stop. Okay, we continue to move to infinity. So that means the range from 0 to infinity. Okay, we don't need to stop here. Okay, make sense? So that's what we learned from last class.
We want to know like rooms and brackets.
So open circle or not? Right? So here is open circle. That means round brackets.
Open
If there's open circle, so round bracket. And for the infinity things, infinity, you cannot get the infinity. So use open circle for all the infinity. If that's an infinity, always use open round brackets. Okay, now that's the rule. And today we're gonna learn something different. Use a graph to determine where a function is increasing, decreasing, or constant. Definition: a function f is increasing on on open interval I, meaning that for any x less than x2, we have fx1 less than fx2. A function f is decreasing. Is decreasing on open interval. Or open interval, blah, 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 blah. With x1 less than x2. We have fx1 greater than fx2. I, we use I. A function f is constant. For all choices. For all choices of x in I, we have fx1 equals fx2. Okay, fx1 and fx2. Let's take a look the pictures. Okay, so the first picture. Okay, so I give you guys a curve from A to B. And as we can see, if we randomly pick x1, x2, and we can find the y value fx1 and fx2. Right, it's here. Okay. So in this case, we know x1 is less than x2, right? X1 is less than x2. And correspondingly, fx1 is less than fx2 because fx2 is higher than the fx1, right? So you can see fx1 less than fx2. So that means what? That means that the curve is increasing. Increasing on A to B. Okay, because here I randomly pick up x1 and x2, right? So in this curve, we can see it's increasing. So from A to B, A is open circle, so we use the round brackets. The B is solid point. We use the square bracket. Right? For this case, is increasing on interval A and B. Now let's take a look. The second case. Okay. And for the second case, we'd rather pick x1, x2. And here we have fx1, and we have y value fx2. Okay, now we can see x1 less than x2. However, fx1 is greater than fx2, right? So that means the curve is decreasing. From A to B. Okay, from A to B, because here open circle, right? Open circle, I will use A to B. The third case. Okay, the third case is here. And we randomly pick two, x1 and x2. We will find fx1 is here, right? And then fx2 is here, right? The same. So we can see x1 and x1 less than x2, but we have fx1 equals fx2, right? So that means it's constant. The function is constant on A and B. Here I use the square. Here I use square A because here's a solid point. Here's the open circle. Okay, square A B around the brackets. Okay, so that's the properties of a function. A function can be increasing, decreasing, and constant. So three scenarios. Here I'm going to teach you guys a trick how to identify the function, whether the function is increasing, decreasing, or constant. Now just go back. Let's check this guy. For this guy, you can see the curve is going up. You see, the curve is going up. That means it's increasing. It's increasing on A and B. That's a trick, okay? So that means you don't need to pick up x1 and x2. You just draw an arrow, up arrow, okay? Draw an arrow, you can see the curve is increasing, or the curve is going up. Now, for this guy, you can see the curve is going down, right? It's going down. That means it's decreasing from A to B, okay? And for this guy, you can see the curve doesn't change, right? The curve doesn't change. So that means it's constant on A and B, okay? That doesn't change. So we're gonna use this trick to identify increasing, decreasing, and all constant on the interval. So let's take a look at the first example. The first example is here. Still, we're going to use the previous example. Example 1. Okay, find out whether the curve is increasing, decreasing, or constant. Now let's take a look at this example. As we can see, from here to here, okay, from left to right, is decreasing, right? We use the arrow, down arrow to represent decreasing. And from here to here, the curve is increasing. And from here to here, the curve is decreasing. I wanted to use different color. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. So as we can see, if we want to find the increasing part, we can find from here to here, right? From here to here. That is increasing because the arrow is up, right? It's up. So the increasing interval should be from about the x value. Be careful, always about the x value. So from negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, okay? From increasing. So how about decreasing? Actually, we have two parts, right? This part and this part. Do you see it? This part and this part, because the arrow is down, right? The arrow is down, right? So that means it's decreasing. So from negative pi to negative pi over 2 union pi over 2 and pi, right? Pi over 2. So the red one is about here. Okay. That means goes down, right? Red means goes down. Means the stock price is going down. Red. Okay. So we have two parts. The red means goes down, means decreasing. So these two parts, right? Two parts. Okay, I will give you guys another one. Example 2. Oh, here's no constant, right? We couldn't find the constant. Okay. Okay, let me do it again. So will be much clear. Example 2. So from left to right, and mark down the arrow. So here we found that the curve here is horizontal, right? Horizontal. And from here to here is down, right? It's down. That means I'm gonna use a red color. That means it's down, right? From here to here it's down. And from here to here is horizontal. And from here to here is up, right? It's up. Okay, Now, what is increasing? Increasing, can we find the arrow is up? It's here, right? This guy or this arrow is up. So we're gonna check the X value, okay? X value, be careful, the interval is always about the X value, not about Y value, okay? Make sense? It's from 2 to 3, right? From 2 to 3. So from 2 to 3, use round bracket. Okay, use round bracket. And decreasing is from this part, right? It's down because in this part, the arrow is down. So from -1 to 1. -1 to 1, right? Because here is open circle. Because here is open circle, one, here is solid point. -1 to 1. 1 should be not included, right? And the constant, here we have constant because we have horizontal arrow, right? Horizontal arrow. We have two parts. One part is here, the second part is here. So that means we have two intervals, right? Two intervals from -3 to -1. Union, and the second part is here. 1 to 2. Okay, it's always about X value. Okay, X value. Does that make sense? Now I will give you guys an example. Let you guys try it. Find the increasing, decreasing, and constant. Okay, for me. Here we have two open circles. 1, 2. So from left to right, you need to mark down the arrow, right? Make sure the arrow is up or the arrow is down. If the arrow is up means increasing. If the arrow is down means decreasing, right? Okay, let me write down the answer. From left to right, okay? You mark down all the arrow. Here is up arrow, right? Up arrow. And here is down arrow. I use the red pen. Okay, you see the red. And here is up arrow. Right? So mark down all the arrows, whether it's down arrow or up arrow. And now you can write down the interval. Okay, increasing is up arrow. So this part and this part, make sense? This part and this part, right? And for this part, it's from 1 to 2. Okay, from 1 to 2. It's always about X values. Okay, from 1 to 2. So 1 is included, 2 is not included because open circle. And union from 3 to 4, right? From 3 to 4, 4 is included. 3 is not included because open circle. Right? No, decreasing. Decreasing, that means we need to find the what? We need to find the down arrow. Okay, the down arrow. And the down arrow is here, the red one, right? The red one. So it's from 2 to 3, right? From 2 to 3. So from 2 to 3. Okay. 2 and 3 here are both open circle. So it means means round brackets. Okay, round brackets. Okay, continue. Here's the open circle. Find increasing, decreasing, or constant. From left to right, you need to mark down the arrow, right? Up arrow, down arrow, or horizontal arrow. Okay, let me write down the answer on board. So from left to right, from left to right, okay, from left to right, you're gonna see here is the curve goes down, right? From left to right, okay. Can you see the curve? From left to right, you will see the curve goes down, okay, make sense? From left to right, okay. And from here to here is up arrow, right? So now you can write down the increasing or decreasing. Increasing, we're gonna see the up arrow. So it's from here to infinity, right? Because the curve always goes up. So that means from 4 to infinity, because here is an open circle. Decreasing, that means from negative infinity to 4, right? Because the curve goes to infinity and the x value gonna go to a negative infinity. So that's the equation. Okay, and here is open circle. That means we're gonna use round brackets. Okay. Now I will give you guys another one. Example 5. Okay. Find increasing, decreasing, or constant. Here, no open circle. Okay, no. Just find increasing, decreasing, or constant. From left to right, the first step, you need to mark down the arrow, right? Up arrow or down arrow. Okay, I think most of you guys should get it, right? So from left to right, right? And we find this curve is going up. Right? It's going up. From left to right, the curve is going up. And from here to here, the curve is going down, right? So now you can write down the increasing is from, because this curve from negative infinity to 3, right? So it should be negative infinity to 3. Okay, and decreasing. Oh, decreasing. is from 3 to infinity. This part, right? This part is from 3 to infinity. Okay, so that's the this guy. Now let's take a look another one. Example 6. Okay, find the increasing, decreasing constant. So here is a open circle, okay? Okay, let me write down the answer. So from left to right, goes up. And here is it's going down. And here goes up. Oh, sorry. Right. Now increasing, we need find the down arrow, right? Or increase the up arrow, right? This part and this part, right? Two part, 1, 2. And here from 0 to 2. And this part from 3 to infinity, right? And decreasing is from here to here, right? We need to find the down arrow from 2 to 3. Okay, now the last example, I promise you guys, the last example. Example 7. Okay, find increasing, decreasing constants. Okay, we have 2 open circles. So from left to right, draw the up arrow or down arrow or horizontal arrow. Right? Okay, let me write down the answer on board. From left to right, and we can see here, we should draw the down arrow, right? And this guy should be a up arrow. And this guy should be a down arrow. Right? So increasing means up arrow from 2 to 4, right? And be careful, here is open circle, round brackets. Decreasing means down arrow, right? Down arrow, we have 2 parts, this guy and this guy. So for this guy is from 1 to 2. Union. And for this guy it's from 4 to infinity. Right? 4 to infinity. Does that make sense? So be careful. The increasing, decreasing constant is always about x value. I'm pretty sure some of you guys may make a mistake with the y values, right? So be careful about that.